I mean, you knew I was going to talk about more indie books. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always, guys, I am Andrew. Today we have got my October Indie Spotlight. But before we get into that, make sure you are liking, commenting, and subscribing, hitting that bell notification so you can get regular updates for when I put out new content. Now, guys, I have got 3 fantastic indie books here to talk about, and I've got them right here. Boom! We have got Moon Deeds by Palmer Pickering, and we've got The Dark Heart of Redemption by Darren M. Hanshaw. And also, we have got SPFBO semifinalist Thrice by Andrew D. Meredith. This is the first book in a Needle and Leaf novel, and this is where we're going to kind of start. Now, this book is fantastic. It has got more of your Slavic kind of style fantasy, and I had to ask what that kind of was. Basically, it's just, instead of being more English-based, it kind of moves a little bit further north, and you get a little bit different themes within the fantasy, including the monsters that kind of appear in the story. So it still feels very much like European fantasy, but it's just slightly different. Now, this book, we follow a boy, Leaf, and his protector, Joven. And basically, when the way this book starts is Joven has ended up in jail after kind of defending himself. He is very much a big man, but he's a needle maker. And I had to ask, why? I've talked with Andrew about this book, and I'm like, why did you make him a needle maker? And he's like, I thought it was funny. And it is kind of funny because he is very skilled at making needles, and there is a demand for needles in this world. And so he just kind of travels around making needles while sheltering this little boy named Leaf. And Joven is very kind of stoic, very kind of, imagine the Mandalorian and Grogu from The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and that's kind of the dynamic you're going to get with Joven and Leaf. Is very much he's the stoic protector, and Leaf is this little boy full of wonder who's got a deeper mystery surrounding his origins. But basically, people start showing up looking for Joven, and Joven decides to take Leaf and leave the city that they're living in after getting out of prison, of course. And he thinks that they're after Joven, and he doesn't understand why they're being pursued. And so there's this mystery going on as kind of we travel from place to place, avoiding pursuit, only to get to the climax at the end. I really enjoyed Andrew D. Meredith's Thrice. This one was delightful. That just dynamic between these two characters, that kind of innocence of Leaf, and at times, the stoicism of Joven is just hilarious. We do get a lot of great fantasy elements in here, and I mean, this is just one that you do not want to miss. And I believe the next book is out either early or mid next year of 2023. So yes, we have got Thrice. Next, let's talk about The Dark Heart of Redemption by Darren M. Hanshaw. Now guys, this is a sequel to 2017's, I believe, SPFBO semifinalist, The Engineer. And while The Engineer was more of a, I'm going to say, sci-fi romance fantasy story. There's a lot of romance-heavy elements in this story. This book takes it very, very, very different approach. This is a darker, grittier, bloodier kind of take following off of the events of The Engineer. Now, the author does say that you can read this one independently. Me personally, I slightly disagree with that, because we do kind of start at the end of the last book, and we've kind of formed these relationships and these opinions of the antagonist and the protagonist. But this is a Chronicles of Actaeon story, and we've got Trench, we've got Waves, the loyal mercenaries. We are here in Redemption, where it is just a world at war, where basically the outside tribes are coming in. There's just, the first 40% of this battle is just war. And there's something about the way that Darren M. Hanshaw writes. There's just an abruptness to conversations or actions or character death that just mimics real life. Things can just happen on a dime. People die who were just standing right there. And in the middle of war, that totally happens, and he is able to capture that in here. The way that the emotions I got while reading this book is, I would multiple times throughout this reading experience, I would message the author just going, why? And he's just like, yeah, sorry, that's just what I felt needed to happen in that moment. Guys, I absolutely love this. I've actually spoken with this author on the channel. You can go ahead and check up in the cards for that author interview. It was a great time. We actually spent most of the time talking about The Engineer, but I mean, guys, I love these two books put together, and I think more people should check these books out. And then finally, we have got Moon Deeds, The Star Children, Book 1 by Palmer Pickering, who happens to also be one of my patrons. Speaking of my patrons, I just gotta say thank you to my patrons for allowing me to be able to continue to improve this channel, to always reach for more, better book hauls, better lighting. I'm working on updating the cards, the intro and everything. I'm hopefully going to be doing something closer to Rekindled Readers where it's animated with a new logo. Hopefully that will be coming early next year. We will see. I'm not going to make any hard promises, but again, thank you guys for helping me to pursue my passion. Now, back to Palmer Pickering's book. Guys, this is an award winner, and I forget which award it won. Oh, here we go. Awards right here on the back. First place winner in Cantilever's Paranormal Award, gold medal winner, Reader's Favorite General Fantasy Award. This is a good book. It has a just slew of awards right here on the back. But basically, as soon as you look at this, you can kind of see that they're holding some crystals, maybe some scrolls. There's a gun on the back. There's a spaceship. That lets you know that this is sci-fantasy. And it's a very interesting blend of sci-fantasy because basically the way this book starts is it starts with a term paper by Cassidy, one of the twins here on the cover. We've got Tor and we've got Cassidy. They are two twins that are linked almost magically and may be like some prophesized, once in 1,000 years, these two twins kind of come and have to be found to restore balance to the galaxy. And they're called the Star Children. Now, basically what ended up happening is Earth was going about its merry way, and all of a sudden, humanoid aliens came down to Earth. They found out that they were compatible with humans, they moved in, they started breeding, and then they slowly kind of came around the back door to kind of take over control of the planet, imposing their own cultural beliefs, and then basically the world goes into civil war. And then all of a sudden we've got this kind of shamanic society who is able to put up a shield. Thus comes in the magic and the crystals and stuff like that, because shamans are real, and they put up the shield that keeps the aliens out. And then basically one day that shield starts to fall, and since this has happened, basically Tor has joined the military. Cassidy is very much staying at home with her parents, and they need to reunite in order to get away because they are now outside the boundary of the shield. They cannot get protection, but their great aunt left them deeds to land on the moon, so they decide to try and get to a ship to get to the moon and kind of immigrate and try and survive there. When we get to the moon, there is just all sorts of shenanigans and survival stuff. Their deeds kind of put them in some hot water, and where this book ends, it ends on a massive, massive cliffhanger. Guys, I gave each one of these books down. I'm going to put The Engineer down, but I gave each one of these books 4 to 5 stars. These are all delightful reads. You cannot go wrong with Thrice. You cannot go wrong with Moon Deeds, and you cannot go wrong with The Dark Heart of Redemption. Please check out these amazing self-pub books. They are worth your time, and I mean, just look at these covers. I mean, I love self-pub covers. There's just so much here to love. Please go ahead and check these out. That said, that's all I've really got here for you. So, till next time, peace out, stay magical, bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.